Welcome back, Sebastian here. So time for my review for the Formula 2 sprint race for Britain. So it was a very wet track to start. Vesti started on pole with Hadjar starting in second. There were 3 formation laps behind the safety car just to make sure that the cars had enough temperature into the tires and make sure that they could get some of the standing water off the track to start. For sure, during one of the last formation lap, he pit for new wet tires. Not sure if there was a puncture or if there was something wrong with the tires, and they went right into a rolling start procedure, which is the safer start, as it means that the race starts with all the cars spread out. When we got going, Vesti got a really good start, and Iwasa started dropping down right from the beginning. Benavides then hit the Charouz of Novalak and spun around and kind of came to a stop near one of the guardrails. And that was around Village, which is turn 3. And that brought out the safety car. But before the safety car came out, Behrman passed Fittipaldi through Meggetts and Beckett's. Lap 3, the safety car ended, and it was a very even start for all the leaders. But Behrman gets past Pourchaire, who is having a really good start, passes him at Village up to P3 on the podium. Behrman also overtakes Hadjar at Stowe for P2, so an excellent start to the race for Behrman on those wet tires. And it was a really nice move, the one that he made on Hadjar as well. Lap 6, I noted that overtaking was difficult, and after those first couple of laps, everyone really has their tires up to the correct temperature, so it's much harder to overtake as well. Lap 7, Behrman started dropping positions, and we soon found out why. He spun right on the second last corner and lost like 3 or 4 seconds in that last sector, and he dropped behind Hadjar. And then a little bit later, he dropped behind Pourchaire as well, who overtook him at Club Corner the following lap. That same lap, lap 8, Doohan overtook Fittipaldi for P5. Novalak was then given a 5-second penalty for the contact with Benavides on the opening lap. I honestly thought the penalty was a bit harsh. I thought it was like a 50-50 racing incident, but that being said, it's not really a big deal because Novalak was well outside the points. Really good battling, I thought, between Martins and Fittipaldi going down the straight. Lap 9, Pourchaire was chasing down Hadjar, so Hadjar was kind of among the leaders. He was the one who I thought was struggling the most with lap times, and Leclerc overtook Maloney for P9 at Copse. So a really good move there by Leclerc. Lap 10, I noted that it was really important to find that wet line on the track, and that's just to maintain tire temperature and make sure that the tire temperature doesn't get too hot. Lap 11, close racing between Behrman and Doohan through Village, and at this point Doohan was like just screaming on the radio saying that Behrman should get a penalty. He's weaving on the straight, he cut me off, he did this, he did that, doing anything he can basically to get Behrman a penalty. Lap 12, Pourchaire overtook Hadjar at Club for P2, so a really good move there by Leclerc. By Pourchaire, and Leclerc also overtook Nissany for P8, so it moves his way into the points positions for the sprint race. Lap 13, the track doesn't seem to be drying up. We haven't really seen any new fastest laps since the beginning of the race. And then just as I write that down in my notes, Pourchaire set the fastest sector 2. So it does look like the track was starting to dry out a little towards the end. Doohan was very close to Behrman, and they basically are going wheel to wheel through Stowe, and Behrman kind of pushes him off. There's no contact, but he did go right to the edge of the track and didn't really leave a car's width. So that was under investigation for a while. Let's see, and I've thought maybe a penalty, but it was very close, very on the edge. Lap 15, Behrman was putting pressure on Hadjar, who, despite being up in P2 for quite a bit of the race, didn't have the best pace, I thought. And he passes him into Copse, so a really good move there by Behrman. And right immediately, Doohan, who's now right in behind Hadjar, starts putting pressure on him right away. And Hadjar's going so slowly that he actually gives Fittipaldi a look, who's in P5, a chance to try to get a move on Doohan, but doesn't quite get that move done. Lap 16 though, Doohan does get that move done, does pass Hadjar into left field, really good move there. And they also announced no further action between Doohan and Behrman for that scuffle into Stowe. Lap 17, at this point I wrote round 3 Doohan versus Behrman. They were very, very close, and they were one of the tightest battles on track that we had all race. And Behrman basically just outbrakes himself. He just tries to brake. Doohan managed to get the inside into Stowe, taking the inside into Vale, I believe. And then basically Behrman trying to keep the position, just outbrakes himself too late, goes into the gravel a little bit and tries to rejoin the track as quickly as possible. However, he was under investigation for rejoining the track unsafely. As of now, there's been no answer or no resolution on that yet, so it is possible he does get a penalty for that. And because of that, he fell to 6th place. Lap 18, he had some small contact with Martins at Village, but no harm done, it seemed. Final lap, that's when Behrman was noted for the unsafe rejoin, so again, that's going to be looked at after the race, so he may drop down from where he finished. And Vesti takes a checkered flag to get a very impressive lights to flag win. He didn't really look to be under any pressure. After Behrman spun, what lap was that? Yeah, basically after Behrman spun that first time, he basically looked like he was in control and he was in the lead for 6+ seconds over whoever was in 2nd place after that. So really, really impressive result for Vesti, and he extends his championship lead. So let's take a look at the race result and the championship standings after the sprint race. So Vesti, of course, won the race. P2 was Pourchaire, 3rd was Doohan to round out the podium. 4th was Fittipaldi, and 5th was Hadjar. 6th was Behrman, 7th Martins, 8th Leclerc to round out the points finishers. Nissany finished 9th, just outside the points. It would have been his first points of the season. And if Behrman does get a penalty, he could move up into that last points position. 10th was Maloney, 11th Derivula, 12th Hauger, 13th Miney, 14th Crawford, 15th Cordial, 16th Stonick, 17th Novalak. Novalak did finish, I believe, 16th or 15th, but did drop down because of that penalty for the contact with Benavides. 18th was For Sure, 19th was Correa, and 20th was Boschan. 21st, the really a race to forget for Iwasa. He basically looked like he had damage or something. He had a puncture maybe. And after that first lap, he was really completely out of the race. He does get the fastest lap, so no fastest lap point for Vesti, who had it right before that. Of course, one retirement, Benavides. So your championship standings, Vesti extends his championship lead now up to, let's see, what's it up to now? 21 points for Vesti. Pourchaire is 2nd on 114, and Iwasa is 3rd with 107, I believe. 4th is Behrman with 84, 5th is Pourchaire with 75, 16th. 6th is Martins with 62, and 8th Hauger with 60. 9th is Doohan with 60 as well. So very, very close between 6th and 9th in the championship. So that's definitely going to be something to watch for in the races to come. 10th Miney with 49, 11th Maloney with 48, 12th Derivula with 41, 13th Crawford with 38, 14th Leclerc with 37, 15th Boschan with 33, and 16th Hadjar with 28. 17th Stanek with 11, and 18th Correa with 10. Novalak has 2, and we have our 3 pointless drivers at the bottom of the standings: Nissany, Cordial, and Benavides. So a pretty exciting race. Obviously, with these full wet races, the wheel-to-wheel racing is generally a bit more difficult. It's more difficult to overtake. But that being said, I did think that we had some pretty exciting battles, especially not for the lead, but for that final place on the podium. The battles between Behrman and Doohan that basically went on for almost the entire race. That was a really, really exciting battle and a really good end as well, I thought. So that's all for my review for the Formula 2 sprint race. Of course, I'll be back in a couple hours with my review for the qualifying for the British Grand Prix. So that should be pretty exciting. It seems like it's going to be wet, so that should mix things up a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to watch more, and I'll be again next time. Goodbye.